Hello again. Regular viewers of this channel will know that just now and again I like to load up my little VW Caravaggio campervan with my e-mountain bike and head off to the wilds for a ride. Now, I haven't actually used an e-bike for a few months now, but that's about to change because some very nice people from a company called Himiway, see it here? Apparently the company is named after Ernest Hemingway, who of course was a great advocate of the bicycle. Anyway, these people offered me one of their e-bikes. So allow me to introduce to you the Himiway Cruiser fat-tyre e-bike. It's a kind of cross between a regular cruiser type bike and a hardtail mountain bike, and it comes with 26-inch wheels and massive 4-inch tyres. Just look at them, they're like tractor tyres. Now, before the bike arrived, I checked out the brand and model on YouTube and discovered loads of videos of this bike being used in all kinds of conditions, and to my amazement at some very, very high speeds. The reason I was amazed is because e-bikes by law have a pedal assist speed limit. In the UK it's 25 kph or 15.5 miles an hour. I also noticed many of the videos showed this bike being used by its throttle alone. You know, again, at some pretty impressive speeds. Now, I have to confess, I was pretty excited, especially with the throttle control, which according to these videos I watched, could accelerate this bike up to about 24 miles an hour, even uphill. I just couldn't wait to get my hands on it. I could imagine myself zooming about like a motorbike. But, and here's the big but, when it arrived, I noticed the bike came with a 250 watt motor, not the 750 watt one in the YouTube videos. And when I assembled it and rode it for the first time, when I turned the throttle, it wouldn't go any more than 6k per hour. Boy, was I disappointed. Now, not being the brightest of individuals, it took me a bit of time to remember that here in the UK, we have a law called the Electrically Assisted Pedal Cycles Regulations 2015, which, despite Brexit, are in line with EU e-bike regulations. And those regulations limit the size of an e-bike motor to 250 watts, and electrical assistance can only be provided to a maximum speed of 25 kph or 15.5 miles an hour. In addition, in Europe, the bike is fitted with a throttle, then the bike technically becomes a moped. And if used as such, it means you need insurance, and you've got to set a driving test and a road fund license and all that stuff. All the videos I watched were US videos, where the laws on e-bikes are very different and less harsh than that here in the UK or Europe. So I'm starting off with a word of caution. Don't be taken in with a whole lot of bull about throttle controls and high speeds and and adjusting the speeds as I was. And there was nothing in the owner's manual and no note of caution or anything else from the manufacturer in all the stuff that came with the bike. However, even with a smaller 250 watt motor and various speed limitations because of UK law, the Himiway Cruiser is still, in my opinion, a great bike. And it'll fit the bill for many people who want a good commuter bike or a bike for cruising around forest tracks and trails, and which for an e-bike comes at a relatively budget price. 4 or 5 years ago I bought a Trek Powerfly 5 and it cost me over £3,000 then. The Himiway Cruiser will set you back £1,699, and at today's price, if you use the code I'll give you in the description below, you'll get a bit of a discount on that as well. So here it is, the bike as it arrived, all packed with everything in place inside to make the assembly as easy as possible. A little toolkit with everything you need comes supplied with the bike, so it's a fairly simple process. First you fit the handlebars, then the front wheel, then the front light, and finally the pedals. I had it all set up and ready to go inside 40 minutes, and I'm not very good at these things. So here's what you get for your bucks, and it's actually pretty impressive. An aluminium frame, which is pretty well finished with some smart matching decals. A 48 volt 17.5 AH Samsung Lithium battery. A 250 watt high-speed brushless geared motor. A large and very clear LCD display, a 7-speed Shimano-Altus derailleur, an alloy and adjustable front suspension fork, Tektro Aries 180mm brake, Shimano-Tourney gear shifters, Kenda 26x4-inch fat tyres. Whew. Now also with this bike you get this rather neat little carrier rack in the back. It's lovely wooden look to it. It's really very smart. Not everybody wants a carry rack, so it's easy enough to take it off. The Himiway saddle is a nice broad saddle, the sort of thing you'd look for, a comfortable saddle on a cruiser bike like this, with quite a neat little carrying handle just situated below the saddle itself. The bike also comes with a bell, which is always useful, and front LED light and a rear LED light. Okay, these are not all top of the range components, but you're not being asked to pay a top of the range price for this bike, and all the components are of sufficient quality to make up a really decent bike. I'd have liked to have seen hydraulic brakes rather than the Tektro mechanical stoppers, but I guess that's something that I could maybe add myself later on. I just feel this is a heavy bike, and once you've got a bit of speed up, it'll take a fair bit of stopping power. Having said that, so far it seems to stop pretty well, so I guess it's okay. The big downside, and it's an issue with most e-bikes, this Himiway Cruiser is heavy. This bike is a bit of a monster, weighing in at just over 70 pounds, about 32 k's. Now that might give you some issues with transport, bike racks and the like. The battery itself weighs about 9 pounds, so if you remove that when you transport the bike, then it helps quite a bit. Now I want to do a follow-up video after I've used this bike for a while, looking at how it performs on various surfaces, how many miles I can get out of a battery charge, and generally how it rides. But for the moment, let's go for a bit of a ride and get a feel for it. To say I'm a bit excited would be an understatement. First thing I noticed was how quiet this bike was. There's quite a hum from the Trek e-bike, but this bike had very little sound from the motor. In fact, there's more noise from the fat tyres than from the motor. These are the kind of conditions in which fat bikes excel. The big fat tyres cling to the ground like limpets. This track is really rough, but the combination of the front fork suspension and the fat tyres makes it a relatively comfortable ride.